Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to NAWBO On The Go. My name is Tanya Shagnon, and with me today I have Jenelle Dito with FICO, and we are going to unravel all of the scariness about FICO today. I'm so excited because FICO is a four-letter word. It can be scary, and we're going to just not make that happen. So, Janelle, I'm so excited about this conversation. How are you today?
I'm really great, and I'm really glad to be here and kind of tackle that scariness as well.
Yay! Okay, so let's just start by breaking it down. What exactly is a FICO score? Why does it exist? And why should every entrepreneur care about it?
Yeah, a FICO score is a three-digit number that is basically a summary of the data in your credit report. So it's a way that lenders can quickly pull that information and help assess an application or an opportunity to make new credit. So credit cards, auto loans, mortgages, all of the kinds of credit that consumers have, it generally relies on a FICO score in part of those decisions. Banks and lenders also use lots of other pieces of information, but the FICO score is kind of that baseline that they'll use to help make that decision. And everyone should know their FICO score, not just entrepreneurs, but especially business owners who are, using a lot more credit than maybe a typical household might, particularly building that business and relying on so much personal credit in that process. So it can feel daunting, like we've
Mhm.
said, but it's really a gateway to get access to that credit you need or want.
It's information and data and
Exactly.
everything that we can do with it to make it read better and everything. We're going to talk about all of that nitty gritty today. So a lot of micro business owners feel super anxious when
Mhm.
the topic of credit comes up. It can be scary. It can be daunting. What would you say to the woman entrepreneur who feels nervous or avoidant about looking at her credit score? And how can we make her feel like it is more friend than foe?
Yeah. I feel this really deeply in my core because while I've never been a business owner, I certainly am a woman. And control and access to information is just paramount to kind of that personal success and opportunity. And so I really want to encourage women to engage and avoid surprises and participate in their own data and information. So knowledge is power. It's a little bit of a cliche, but you know, knowing your FICO score is just a way to understand what your opportunities or options are. If the score is not where you need it to be, well, finding that information out and starting down a path to improve it. It's just a part of that journey, but it really helps you take control of those outcomes. And a good or a better or a best FICO score can help you get access to those better rates. So
Mhm.
making informed decisions around how much can you borrow because of those rates is going to help you just take more control over your future.
I love that. Okay. So let's jump in and let's do some myth busting here.
Mhm.
What are the most common credit score myths you hear from entrepreneurs that are just flat out wrong?
Yeah, there's so many of them.
Oh, I hate that answer.
Uh, and some of them, I'll go over some ones that we know through our surveys and real world experiences, and then even some that are coming up into kind of the TikTok and Finfluencer areas as well. So, one myth is that a bad score will haunt you forever, and that is really not true. Um, Information is, only as good as it's current. So, if you've missed a payment and you have a bad FICO score, time is your friend. So just get current on payments, start doing positive behavior, and that negative information on your credit report will age off eventually, but it'll also diminish in its impact as time goes on. So you can have a score that needs work, and you can do that work and make improvements along the way. And when your score is somewhere that you can get better rates, you can renegotiate some of those terms with your
Oh,
lender to
nice.
get better rates. So it is a journey, absolutely.
Hmm.
So absolutely a myth that a bad score haunts you forever. Another one is that the myth is that checking your score will harm your score, and that's just not true.
And
Uh,
how frequently should you check your score?
yeah, I mean, we know people that check their score on a daily basis,
Oh
but
my gosh.
a monthly basis is a really great kind of temperature check. I really love getting my FICO score for free from lots of different sources so that I have a few different cadences and a few different data sources, those data sources being the different credit bureaus, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. That way I know if something is happening on any of those credit reports,
Hmm.
I get an access to that in my monitoring and can rectify anything that isn't true or that I need to start to work on.
Right, something that you need to pay attention to. What is the relationship, especially for business owners, between your personal credit and your business credit? How do those affect each other?
Right. So for the really small business owner that's just relying on your personal credit is your business credit in those
Mm-hmm.
cases. Um, but when you've, graduated into using a small business score and having finances that are really, unique to your business, your personal credit history and your FICO score are a big component that go into your business score. So while that small business score may rely on additional data, its primary foundation is your personal FICO score, and that's because your behavior and your past ability to pay and manage credit are key components into how that lender thinks you're going to manage your business credit. So really important, as well as just understanding what goes into your personal FICO score, that payment history, that credit utilization being the two biggest components,
Mm-hmm.
same things, same behaviors on a bigger scale into your business credit as well. So learning good behaviors on your personal side are going to translate into that positive experience in managing your business credit as well.
That is such good advice. So, beyond just getting a loan, Janelle, how does a credit score actually impact the day-to-day financial life of an entrepreneur?
Yeah, one of the things that when FICO created the FICO score, we remain so proud of is that kind of democratizing of credit and those decisions around, focusing on the data. So yes, getting approved is really critical part of that application process, but the rate and the terms that you get approved at are really going to be driven by your credit score and your history, as well as other information the lender will use to make that decision. But that rate can really affect your bottom line. So you may get approved for an auto loan that has nothing to do with your business, but absolutely affects your personal finances and your available cash. And when you get that auto loan, it's not just a matter of a yes or a no. It's what rate you're approved at as well and offered so that you can have those monthly payments be as low as possible. And everyone can understand really quickly
Yeah.
how much better it would be to pay a little less for that same car
Mm-hmm.
just because you had a better FICO score that told your lender that you were a better risk, and so could earn a lower rate. So many betters and lowers, but ultimately, having that affect your personal finances in such a dramatic way can be one of the biggest impacts. And then there are other things that don't even use a FICO score specifically, but do rely on that rich data that's in the credit report. Think of cell phones or getting more lines on a phone plan. That phone provider is going to look at your credit report to help determine what they want to extend to you and how you've managed credit. Even if they're not using your FICO score specifically, and some do, but same thing with insurance, other rental obligations you may go into, a store, a property, a warehouse, all of those things are going to utilize your credit report data to understand what kind of terms and conditions and rates they want to extend to you. And so all of that can go into what that's going to cost you on your bottom line, even if you're not just applying for a yes or no situation when it comes to credit. So it really has this lasting impact across so many aspects of your life.
Oh gosh. So what if your
Not
credit
to
score?
scare you.
I know, I know. So what if your credit score isn't where it needs to be? How can you work towards building that up? And what are some of the concrete steps that women can take?
Yeah, one of the first things is to, start doing positive behaviors. If you've missed payments in the past, just do your best to start making those payments on time. And we talk about that in the terms of pay as agreed. And that means pay on time and pay your minimums. So I love just the tip of doing automatic payment settings in all of your kind of banking and credit apps. That makes sure you don't miss a payment. From there, you can always pay more, but making sure you don't miss a payment is really
Mhm.
critical. So kind of set it and forget it in that back of your mind. And then if you really need help, asking for help is a sign of strength, and I believe that deeply across all aspects of my life, whether it's through my career, my marriage, my children, bringing in other resources is an incredible, feat of strength. And so I love that for credit as well. We partner with a lot of nonprofit credit counselors. Many of them have a focus on small business and on women. On my FICO, you can find not only access to your FICO score for free, but tons of resources and ways to connect with nonprofit counselors that can really kind of help in that space. Again, budgeting
Yeah.
and resources to help in different communities and in your local areas as well. So really kind of doing the work and not being afraid to ask for help and understanding that if your FICO score is not where you want it to be, setting those goals and starting that process is the best way to just get going on that. It's a journey. It's not set in stone.
And we have in show notes links to myfico.com and a couple of other links that will help you on this journey as well. So please, please reference those show notes too. Okay, last question. As we wrap up, what is the single most important piece of advice you'd leave with the women in the NAWBO community to help them build and protect a financial foundation for their businesses?
A single piece of
A
advice. I
single
know.
piece. We can do single-ish.
Um, well, first of all, avoid surprises. Do the research, take the time to understand where you're getting your source of data from. So if it's too good to be true, it is too good to be true. And that's across all aspects of our lives. But there's no quick fixes on these things. It is work, but it's really rewarding. So know your FICO score, seek information, seek knowledge, but ensure you're doing that from reliable sources.
Perfect. This has been amazing and so insightful. Thank you so much for spending time with us today.
I really appreciate the invite and being able to spend time with you, Tanya.
Yes, absolutely. And listeners, thank you as well for joining us today. And I will see you back here super soon for our next episode. Have a great day, everyone.